when we ask for reparations for stolen labor, stolen land, our stolen bodies, destroyed families, redline neighborhoods, block wealth, government hack, racial harm, suddenly the same government becomes confused and says, oh no, we need to be colorblind. Okay? And that's the contradiction. And the issue isn't whether the government knows how to repair historical injustice. The issue is whether the people in power are even willing to use that same legal machinery when victims of Black American descendants of slavery. And the truth is, they're not. Can we just accept that truth? They're not. Okay? Because, see, the problem isn't ability. We are the United States government. We can do pretty much whatever we want to here in the United States. The problem the problem is political will. It's that's it. Okay? What I'm saying, let me say this otherwise. The problem is the government doesn't want to do it, and you can't make them. Is that clear? So when we talk about reparations, it's not going to happen. And that is my legal opinion. Okay? That is my earnest, most honest legal opinion. You're going to get wrapped up in so much, or at least not that route. The route you're trying to take is not going to work. And that's the truth that you have to deal with. And see, here's what you need to understand. The truth is, foundational Black Americans will not ever get reparations from the American government. And the route to reparations has failed, and it'll continue to fail because Black Americans don't have the leverage to force the payment, and we haven't created an incentive strong enough to make other groups get behind it. And that's the cold-hearted truth right there. That's the ice-cold truth. That's the political reality. Why would the average American voter support raising taxes, increasing federal spending, or redirecting American tax dollars to one group of American citizens for reparations? Why would they do that? What's the incentive for them to do that? Go ask your Hispanic friends or your white friends or your Arab friends or your Caribbean friends. What incentive do they have to raise their tax dollars? Or how can you make them do it? Tell me, how are you going to make these people do it? Huh? I'm talking, somebody type FBA and all my foundational Black Americans in here. Let's have an honest conversation, because I'm going to speak to you honestly. What's in it for them? What benefit do they receive by sending Black Americans a check totaling $1 trillion? What pressure are they under to do that? I want you to just think about that. We got busted highways and busted roads, and education is underfunded. The healthcare is shot to crap. We got a bunch of old people running around. We got a drug epidemic. What's their incentive? What do they lose if they say no? And until Black Americans answer those questions, federal reparations is dead in the water. Look, I know people don't like to hear that, but apparently lately I'm the one. I'm gonna just give you the bad news. I'm that guy, right? I'm that lawyer. Somebody type mean lawyer in the chat room. I guess that's me, right? I know it makes you mad to hear that. Somebody type sellout in the chat room. I'm a boule, I'm a sellout. I'm just telling you the truth. If you don't believe me, go ask some white people how they feel about giving you reparations. Ask them if they're willing to raise their taxes to give you reparations. I'm just saying. Most of them are going to say something like, our ancestors didn't even get here to 1915. We didn't have anything to do with it, and you weren't in slavery. That's what they're going to say. I mean, think about it. These people barely wanted us to drink at their water fountains. They fought us over school buses and neighborhoods and voting rights and contracts and housing and basic human dignity. So what makes anybody think they're just going to turn around and hand Black Americans $1 trillion because we made a moral argument? Think about that. Yeah, slavery was bad. We know it was horrible. But that's a moral argument. I want you to think about that using your common sense. The same government that had to be forced to recognize us as full citizens is just suddenly going to write a historic check because we gave a powerful speech. America doesn't have $1 trillion it's willing to give to Black people. And even if it had the money sitting there, right, just sitting over there on the dresser somewhere, yeah, let's just get the Blacks, just line them up outside. We'll give. Even if they had the money sitting there, it wouldn't give it to us without pressure or leverage or some sort of benefit to the people controlling the money, right? And that's why any serious reparation strategy has to satisfy two basic requirements. First, there has to be an ample source of income large enough to fund the remedy. And second, there has to be leverage or an incentive. Either we hold something over the person or institution or government or entity when we want money from, or we present them with an option where they benefit too. And without money, leverage, or incentive, reparation, it isn't a plan. It's begging dressed up as politics. Now, that being the case, I have the answer. Somebody type the answer in the chat room. I have the answer. Shout out to everybody. I know you all are going to learn something. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'm absolutely certain that you all are going to learn something. You don't owe me anything. But if you learn something, I should earn something. That's all I say. But I absolutely must ask that you subscribe to the channel. Now, are you ready for the answer? Are you ready? Because see, you all have been fighting me for this for about 6 years now. Are you ready now? Are you ready for the answer? See, we have a lot of new subscribers, and they were like, well, what's going on? We thought you was a right-wing conservative. Absolutely not. But nor am I liberal. I'm pragmatic. I solve problems and I speak the truth. And because I speak the truth, it's easier for me to solve problems. I don't live in a delusional world. Are you all ready for the answer? Are you ready for the truth? You ready to hear it? I'll give you the answer. But see, Black Americans haven't wanted to hear it. See, these federal reparations keeps failing because we don't have the leverage to make the federal government pay us, and we never will. But there's another path, and that path creates the incentives necessary to bring in the federal government as a partner, major corporations, major law firms, construction companies, US-based oil companies, energy companies, even parts of the American public will be happy to go along with it. In other words, we let them fight our fight because they benefit from the outcome too. See, the problem is that many Black Americans, you'll find this answer distasteful because it requires us to seek reparations from the other guilty party. Somebody type other. Somebody type other guilty party. It requires us to seek reparations from the successor states in Africa whose predecessor kingdoms and empires and merchants and ruling classes participated in the capture, sale, transport, and export of our ancestors. And see, that history isn't imaginary. The transatlantic slave trade lasted for centuries. Historical data places the trade from the mid-1500s to 1860 with approximately 12.2 million Black bodies loaded onto Atlantic slave ships and about 11 million surviving the Middle Passage into America, or the Americas. And before this, the first Africans arrived, or before the first Africans arrived in British North America in 1619, more than 500,000 Africans had already been transported to Brazil. And by the end of the trade, more than 4 million had been taken there. The ships were European and American, and the plantation system was European and American. But the supply chain began inside Africa.